Hey everybody, welcome along. Thank you for joining us once again for the 13th edition of that Hacktoberfest daily stream. I'm Martyn, hi, live from Slovakia. It's 6 o'clock and I'm going to be hanging out for the next half an hour to an hour talking about Hacktoberfest, going to be talking about some open source stuff, going to talk about some of the new content that's out there, some of the streams that maybe you've missed already that you can now go back and watch. And then I'm going to do some research for a blog post that I have upcoming, which actually features an open source framework. And I haven't really dug into it so much, so I thought, well, I may as well do that in public and live on the stream. So watch me as I figure out how to do something with a piece of technology that I'll talk about in just a bit. But yeah, we're on to the 13th of these streams, which puts us very much into the Hacktoberfest month at this point. And yeah, I think things have been going well. Things feel like they've been going well on our side. I hope they've been going well on your side, and that you've been achieving everything that you've been setting out to achieve, whether it's the claiming of t-shirts, PRs for socks, planting trees, or grabbing $5 of open collective credit. We very much appreciate all of the efforts that you've been putting in so far, and thank you for being a part of the community around Hacktoberfest just in general, whether it's here on these streams, over in the Discord, or anywhere else where you've been communicating with us over the past 20 days. We've appreciated it, we've enjoyed it, and yeah, we're not done yet. There's still plenty more to go. So I will go over a little bit of some of the things that we have been doing over the past couple of days in terms of content. But in case you are super fresh and super new to these streams, particularly if you've missed the 12 that have preceded it, where have you been? We've been here every day at various different times of the day, so we make sure we get at least a little bit more of a time zone spread. And yeah, we talk about open source. We talk about pull requests that we've seen that are interesting. We talk about stuff that can help you with your Hacktoberfest journey, whether you are all the way through it and you've already completed all the pull requests you're going to do, or whether you're just about to jump into your first one. Hopefully we've got something that's going to be useful. We've created a landing page that's a really good starting point. You can find it at developer.nextmo.com/Hacktoberfest. And here's, all the resources that we've pulled together, in terms of signing up, what you can do in terms of contributing, how you can find issues to get started with, some places to look inside of our own repositories, where we've been tagging things, not just with Hacktoberfest, but specifically as things like Good First Issue, and other places that you can dig in and find that stuff. And we've seen plenty of contributions to quite a lot of this so far, but also many, many other things. Besides, we have a repository of we call it a community repository. It's where we keep a lot of the little demos that we created on our team to show people how to work with the particular APIs that we have here at Vonage. And there's loads of stuff in there. There's stuff that dates back, many, many years. It's a little treasure trove of really great examples of how to work with the Vonage APIs. But we've seen people going in and digging through those, making updates to them, changing up READMEs, fixing stuff that isn't working anymore, which has been great. It's so nice to see people going beyond just what's on this list right here. Which people are doing, and that's totally fine, but people are really diving in, going deep inside the repositories that we have, and finding stuff that some of us haven't seen before even, and we're going through and looking at all of that, so thank you. NH Carrigan, hi, welcome. I saw you in the Discord before saying you were going to be joining. Thank you for being here, we appreciate you. So yeah, this is the good jumping off point if you are just joining us for the first time, you've not really come across what it is that's happening, and you want to get a little bit of guidance so far. And of course, one of the reasons that so many people are taking part in this is because they want to get their hands on these Vonage socks more than other things. Obviously, you can also get the $5 Open Collective gift card, which is fantastic. It allows you to go to Open Collective and donate that $5 to either one or several open source projects of your choice. So you can support the maintainers that are working on those. Or if you just want fancy looking feet to finish up the year, then this is one of the ways that you can do that with the Vonage branded socks. They have been incredibly popular. It seems to be the guiding light for many people as to why they're doing this, which is absolutely fine. I'm reliably informed that they are in fact bamboo socks as well, which I don't own any of. Maybe at some point I might get some of these and I will have my first pair of bamboo socks to try, but they're supposed to be very nice and very, very comfortable. But if you are good for socks and you want to, get the Open Collective gift card as well, then that's also great. Open Collective is a fantastic site that allows you to go donate to any open source project that you like, support the maintainers that are working on it day in, day out, and you get to see what they do with that money. As well as a lot of transparency around where the money actually goes, and you can see it being distributed out and how that's really having an impact on the lives of not only the maintainers but also the lives of the people that are using the technology that you're supporting as well. So just want to throw out as well that tomorrow is the third of our Hacktoberfest Tuesdays events. These are like little mini conferences. They're 2-3 hours long, and they're happening every week in October around different time zones so that we can cover off just about the entire world for people. And tomorrow we are doing the event around the Israel time zone. So it's going to be featuring some of our team who are based over there, and also these guests as well. We've got Untitled, who's a developer advocate at, I want to say SNYK, but I think it's Sneak, SNYK .io. It's a really great service. Liran's going to be talking at the end tomorrow, as well as Michelle Parag, full stack developer, and Jonathan Kra as well. So it's a great lineup. If you've not joined one of these events yet, please see if you can either join this one tomorrow or the one next week, which is also set for kind of the European time zone too. So, this one's kicking off at what is 6 p.m. Local time in Israel, which for me works out to be, I think, 5 o'clock here in Central Europe. And you can work out your time zone kind of based off of that. 1500 UTC if you want to go from there. It's definitely not too late to sign up, so you can I think right up until the last minute come and join the event, as well as the talks. You'll also be able to interact with members of our team as well, so if you have questions about working with any of our APIs or any of the technologies that we have, then you can do that there as well. And I think there's also some hacking time built in there too. So if you want to take a little time out and basically come and join our mini conference / meetup, feel free. There is one tomorrow. There is also one next week as well. And they've been great so far, and they're well worth checking out. What else do we have listed on here? We've added more in terms of the videos as well. So if you're looking to consume content, we have so much stuff. Not only the 12 daily streams that preceded this, but also videos that we created ahead of Hacktoberfest that could be super useful. So the Open Source 101 video is a really great introduction to open source in general, what it is, what it's about, how you can be a part of it. You can also check out the talk that our good colleague Lorna Mitchell did about how to be the boss of open source contributions. It's a really good guidance in there, how to make great contributions that are good for the moderators, good for maintainers, and good for you ultimately. And then there's a whole bunch of other videos that are listed as well. But you should also go and check out our you're already on the Twitch channel if you're watching this live, so you can watch any of the stuff that we've already streamed. as part of Hacktoberfest Daily, but also as part of our usual streaming schedule as well, which hasn't stopped because of this. You can go and check out all of the different streams that we have happening weekly. You can find out more about those on our DevTV page as well, which lists out everything. And just looking at this, this has been a super busy month already. Where are we right now? We're on the 20th. No, we're here. This is me. We're doing Mondays with Martyn right now. Tomorrow, another Hacktoberfest daily stream, but then also a little bit later on in the day, and good for anyone on the East Coast, especially in the US, Lauren Learns Things. It's a great stream featuring Lauren, who's on our team, and Lauren is going to be learning things, as the name implies. Then Hacktoberfest daily streams throughout the rest of the week, as well as the Low Code Hour, which is a great look at low code solutions, ways to build without necessarily writing a whole bunch of code or any code at all in certain cases, and also Build a Thing with Kevin Lewis on Friday, which I've also seen. His repository for that has been getting Hacktoberfest pull request submissions as well. So he's really completing the whole run of everything that he's trying to achieve, not only streaming during Hacktoberfest, but having people add to the repository of the thing that he's building. And if you want to find out what that is, jump onto the stream, watch the ones that have preceded it here on Twitch, but also on our YouTube channel, and maybe join it on Friday if you want to be a part of that as well. Cool. One other thing to talk about. Our lovely colleague Noreen put out this post on Friday, which I thought was fantastic. 33 high-impact open source projects seeking contributions. So if you haven't yet figured out what you want to contribute to, if you've not yet finished your contributions entirely, if you want to take a little bit of time to add something that is going to be super meaningful as opposed to just meaningful, then there's a great list here of projects across all of these different languages that you can go and check out that are, doing something that little bit extra. So they're either, for instance, like NVDA, allowing blind and vision impaired people to access and interact with the Windows operating system. Could be an interesting one to check out. There's some environmental stuff in here. It's a really amazing list, and if nothing else, just well worth going and taking a look at to figure out, that these projects even exist. Some of them are doing really great stuff. There's some really interesting ways of approaching, like difficult topics and stuff that doesn't necessarily get so much attention from the technology world as well. And it's just about covered every language as well. I mean, come on, R is in here. I mean, if you are down with stats, this is, where you want to be. These two here, if you want to fire up, your R IDE and go and work with R, which I haven't done for a long time, about 12 years. This could be my chance. This isn't my time right now. I could go and work with R on either one of these two projects here. If you're looking for something that's not R, then there's JS, PHP, Ruby, C#. Everything is in here. There's a whole bunch of projects that are well worth taking a look at. And maybe there is either a good first issue. There's so many of these are listed Hacktoberfest issues, and also good first issues as well. So if you're looking for something that's either going to get you started, or you're looking for something that can finish up your Hacktoberfest journey in a really meaningful way, this is something to go and check out. And I think this is fantastic. So thank you, Noreen. I know that Noreen is here, I think, in the chat. So well done. This is awesome. I hope that they get a whole bunch of extra awesome PRs off the back of you highlighting this. Awesome. All right. So look, that's it for like the Hacktoberfest related stuff that I want to talk about today. I'm going to switch my attention a little bit now to a degree, just doing some work on the stream. But hopefully it's going to be interesting to watch as well. So one of the APIs that we have, I would say one of the more lesser known APIs that we have, one of the ones that's kind of hidden away inside of our documentation is the Vonage Reports API. And it's been getting some changes recently. And as part of that, on our developer education team, we've been pulling together some content to kind of highlight some of the things that you can do with it. I put out a blog post last week, actually, which you can see. Where is it? Yes, here it is. So I did a little intro post last week, just kind of talking about what the Reports API is, what you can do with it, and how you can use it, pull together a bunch of new code samples for how you can work with it in both Node.js and Python. But the top line of it is that if you are working with a Vonage account, then you're doing a whole bunch of activities that are being recorded and logged. And as part of that, you probably at some stage might want to go and grab all of that activity. So for instance, if you're sending like thousands and thousands of SMS messages, or you're receiving a bunch of SMS messages, and they're going inbound and outbound, and there's a lot of different traffic, you probably at some stage might want to analyze that and figure out whether there are any patterns in there, what is all of that telling you, at the very least, like how much is it costing you, and you can do that in one place by using the Reports API, which will basically take a date range and generate a report that you can then go grab. So one of the things that I have to do over the next couple of weeks is I've got to create a blog post that shows people how to build some kind of data explorer application to work with this. So sure, you can go fire up, an IDE and build with whatever language you want against this API and create something, using code. But not everyone necessarily inside of an organization is going to be able to do that from scratch. So wouldn't it be cool if there was a way that you could build on top of this API some way of being able to explore more of the data that comes back from it and give people the opportunity to change things like the date range for themselves, to dig in, modify different parameters so that graphs and things like that change. So one of the things that I was looking at was a Python package. It's an open source package called Streamlit. Yes, that's right, Lauren. A dashboard of some sorts. Yes, a dashboard of some kind. That's an interactive dashboard, if you will. And this is Streamlit. It's on GitHub. You can find their organization at Streamlit, and this is the main project that they have in there. It's really kind of cool, and I thought this would be the perfect application to use for what I was talking about. For a couple of reasons. It seems like it's got some really cool modular elements to it. It's still going to require like code, which is great. And also it's Python, which I don't get to use as much as I would like. And I'm trying to do more of. And could probably be a really nice thing. And you can use Streamlit to build out an entire application that you can then just deploy, because effectively it's just a big Python script that you run. And you can deploy it wherever you want afterwards. So you can just share that link with people and be like, okay, here you go. Now you go and you can play with this, and you can modify the data for yourselves, and pull out whatever narrative or story you're trying to tell from that. So I haven't really looked at it much. So what I was going to do today was kind of dig in a little bit and start building a little bit of a test app with it. And you're going to come along and join me as I do my research today. So the thing that inspired this, though, or at least for me, was that I have for a while been kind of obsessed with this service, which is called Observable. And it's built by a team of people in San Francisco that was founded by a developer called Mike Bostock, who created a very, very popular library for JavaScript visualization called D3. If you have not come across D3, it is at this point absolutely massive. It has been around for a long, long time, but it's basically like I'm not going to say the go-to like visualization library for JavaScript, because there are a lot, but it's probably the most extreme in terms of how much you can do with it. And off the back of creating this, Mike has now created this service called Observable, which is something. It's a community site that allows you to build out data visualizations, but write words around them. So you can basically create like narrative and stories and articles based off of data that include like interactive visualizations and things like that. And you can see some examples of some of the D3 stuff that that's listed on here. You know, some of it's like just ridiculous, and you know, like it's mind-bending the mathematics that goes into some of this stuff. But this is what you can do with D3, and the team kind of behind it created Observable as a way to jump in and create documents that include both data and words. So I was like, that's really cool. Maybe I'll use that. But then I was like, oh, you know what? This is just it's another JavaScript thing for me, which is like, we could probably do something different. But also in the spirit of this, I wanted to use something that was very kind of strictly open source for now, and not you know, something that was a little bit further down the line. You know, they've raised funding, and you know, they're building a big business hopefully around this as well. So I started looking for something that was kind of like this, and I came across Streamlit, which in many ways does pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to dig into that today and start figuring out how we can work with what Streamlit does alongside of the Reports API. So I have already installed it, but we're going to dig in and start playing with some of the things that that you can do. So I'm going to switch off of the browser. I'm going to go over to the IDE now. Share. Okay. All right. So I will still need docs. You're not going to be able to see the docs and this at the same time, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But I'm going to pull it up on the other side of my screen. If I was looking at a way that I could let you see everything that's happening on the screen, but I'm one of those people that uses an ultra-wide monitor. And if I just share the whole screen, it looks tiny on the stream and not really going to be that readable. So I thought I'll show you code, and you can kind of check that out as it's going along. But feel free, I'll put the link in chat. You can go and have a look at this for yourselves if you want to, and maybe play around with it too. So, right, let's see where we start with this. Where do we even begin? Okay, right, so I've installed it. That's a good start. And then I guess we start writing some code. I'm going to use their example that they do first, just so I can get used to like the commands and stuff. I'm going to move this little window over here because I can't see the chat if I do things over there. There we go. Just so you know, I can still see you. Make it bigger. There we go. All right, so their little example that you can do like straight off, that's like interactive from the get-go, is like a slider. So, and I definitely think I'll want to use sliders in the final thing that I put together for the Reports API. So what else? X. It's ST slider and some kind of words to go with it. Number. And then what else does it do? Oh, and then it writes that number out to the screen. Okay, so I guess you just move the slider around and it changes the number. Okay, is it that easy? Number is all right. There you go. That's the most basic Streamlit app that you could possibly do. And it's carrying you pick 42. Yeah. All right. We can get to that point. 43. They chose 43 on their example, almost knowingly. All right. How do I run this? How do I make it into it? How do I make it do stuff? Let's see. What happens if I just do this? A bunch of options. That's my hope. Yes. Okay. So I'll make this a little bigger so you can see. Okay, so there's the commands. Cache config docs hello help run. Oh, it's up there. I'm looking right down here. It's this. Okay. Let's do that. Clear. Okay. Don't need this to be so big now. So Streamlit. Run. No, not Streamlist. That's going to be every time. Streamlit underscore test dot py. All right, magic. Okay. All right. Well, it didn't break. Okay, and it's loaded up in. It's loaded in the browser, so I can show you. Let's switch from this and back on the other window. Yeah, here we go. Let's make this bigger. Ooh, wrong one. All right. So with that code, that's what this creates. So now I'm guessing is this going to change those numbers? Yeah. 42, 42, 42. All right, cool. All right, so that's really easy. That's deceptively easy. I guess once I start actually applying real data to this, that's the point where it's going to be like, oh no, now it doesn't work. But that's a great start. Actually looks kind of nice as well. They've got style in here. I don't know whether you can change this style, but actually it's it's weirdly on brand, given that this is nothing to do with Vonage. It's quite pinky purpley. So what else can you do with this? You get this little menu up the top. When you run it, you can record a screencast with this as well. I like it. All right, so we've added a slider. It's a big day, but that's probably where it kind of ends in terms of like, yeah, you can play with stuff. Let's try and add some actual data into this next and see, and then see what we get. Back to the IDE. We'll come back to this screen in a minute when I do something worth showing you. All right. Oh, I clicked the wrong button and I cancelled the screen share. Here we go. Okay. All right, so we did a slider. That's dope and all, but let's get rid of it now. It's gone. Oh, do you know what? I won't go back to the browser to show you this, but I'm just wondering if I keep it running and then okay. Yeah, it does like react to changes, so I can just leave it running now, and it will update as I build new things. That's cool. All right, so what I want to do, I want to get some data in here, probably. I've got an example of data that comes back from the Reports API that is like fake data, but it'll be fine for these purposes. It's a CSV file, which is what you can get back from the Reports API. When you give it criteria, it goes and it runs the report, and then it generates that file, and you can grab a URL where you go get that file, and then you can do whatever you want with it after that point. So I've got one of those. The only thing is, I think it's like 300,000 rows of data, which might be a bit big for now, but that's okay. Don't worry, we'll deal with it if it is. Okay, so have I got it somewhere? I do have it somewhere. I can get it. All right, so we need to make a request for a CSV. How are we going to do that? Pandas, sure. Pandas is always fun, because we're doing like data and data stuff, so pandas should probably make some kind of an appearance. Oh, not that. Just as PD, please. Thank you. Right, so then I need to go grab a report. So function fetch that report for me, please. And then it's PD. Oh, actually, I need to cast this to something. Data frame. I don't know what it is about Python, but it's like I tend to name stuff very specifically based on what I was taught when I learned to do data stuff in Python, which is like, what are you doing? You're creating a data frame. Okay, so what should it be called? DF. Rather than call it, because I don't have to call it DF, I can call it anything, but DF is just like, it's stuck with me. Like the very first thing you do, if it's a data frame, call it DF. And I cannot break that habit. I really should. Edge Carrigan in the chat, it's like, same though. Like, yeah, I know. Just could call it other things. I just don't. Right, what's the URL for this file? Let's grab it from here. So I actually have this like stored for reference on Dropbox. So when I build the actual thing that I'm going to be building, that will be the feature of the blog post that I write, or the tutorial that I write, it'll be interacting directly, I think, with the Reports API, and it won't be a Dropbox link, is what I'm saying. Right now, I just keep my fake data CSV over there. What do I want to do now? Just return that. Thanks. Yeah, I'll have that. I'll take all that. Take all that data. Okay, so then let's put that in here. Do that. All right, so then that should fetch all of the things. All right, so then I guess we should do Streamlit stuff, because if that's data and it exists, then it's time to actually make a document. Let's pull up their, you know what? Let's pull up their docs and we can look at it together, and we can figure out some of the things that we're going to put in this little experiment that we're doing. So get rid of the IDE for a sec. stop this, start this. Very stop-start with this today. I'm sorry. There we go. Can I zoom this in? It's not particularly easy to read on the stream. There we go. All right, welcome to Streamlit. Thanks. All right, I've installed it. I have done some things, and I've run a file. I did that. Great. Topics guides, reference guides, config. What do I want really? I guess I want to know about components more than anything. But maybe I am getting ahead of myself. Create a Data Explorer app. That'll probably have some guidance. Cool. All right. Yeah, we can go and follow some of this stuff in here. Every good app has a title. Let's add one. Okay, so we can do title, and we then grab the data. Well, I did that already. Caching. Oh, it does caching. Oh, all right. I'm going to add that because if that file is actually 300,000 rows, a cache might be handy. So I'll take that. Thanks very much. Okay. Still on the caching. Still on caching. Okay. So and then you can just write it out however you like. So basically anything that's got like ST in front of it is something that you can call and do stuff with. So like displaying data, display charts, media, interactive widgets. This is all great. Different kinds of buttons, checkboxes. All right, sweet. We can add some of this stuff. Display data. Let's do that first. Okay. We can do it via charts. Yes, we'll try and do that in a minute. But let's put some stuff on the screen and see what it looks like. All right. Back to the IDE. I'm gonna stop and start. Cool. All right. Let's put this over here where I can see. IDE. All right. So where am I? I added the cache in here because I said to put it at the top before you do anything. So that should be it. I don't know whether there's anything else I'm supposed to do right now, but we'll see if it feels like it caches stuff the first time that it runs. All right, so next then let's put data on the screen. You know what? No, we're writing a document that contains data. Let's do it how we'd write anything else. Let's put a title. ft title and my happy data time. And then streamlit.dataframe, or st in this case, dot data frame, and then data. Oh, if this is 300,000 rows though, that's a lot. Let's find out. This is either going to crash my browser, my machine, or through some Streamlit related magic, it'll just work, and that would be great if it did. So before I switch over to a browser that may have crashed, I'm just going to rerun it and see what happens. All right. It says it's running the report. It's loaded the title, and it doesn't appear to have died. Perhaps. It is a particularly big file, though. Something about this now makes me think I probably should have made it smaller before we did this. But you live and learn. I think it looks like the Streamlit data frame that we are working with, let me scroll this down a little bit, that we're working with here is actually like wrapping pandas, which is a data kind of a data exploratory package for Python. If it is, then it should be possible to just be like to call like a sample method on it and say like I only need like 1,000 rows, which would be much quicker to work with in the first instance. But I guess it would be good to discover like does the cache just help on its own? Like if you've got like 1 million rows of data, is this still going to be viable for that point? Because that's kind of the stuff that I also need to know. Oh, you know what? The magic happened, and it like totally worked. I'm genuinely really impressed with this so far, because it's like not only does it feel like it's kind of fun to work with, but it's not breaking when I throw like bad ideas at it. So if you've never seen it before, this is a data frame, better known to most people as a table, which basically covers off every aspect of what is in that CSV. So all the column headers, account ID, message ID, account ref, client ref. I think that this fake data, this mock data, is for phone call activity on the voice API. So you can see some of the stuff that gets recorded from that. So you can see this is an outbound call that was made from this virtual number to that number, which network it went out on, what network it was, where which country it was made from, the country name, when that request was actually received, when it was also finalized. It looks like it doesn't have the finalization data in here, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So yeah, the currency, how much it cost, which gateways it went out on, which for most people, like, people don't care. But if you're like a really, really like heavy user, like generating hundreds of thousands of these every day, this stuff matters, because you can start to look at like which gateways maybe don't work so well for you, which ones may be blocking some stuff potentially. So it's real deep insight if you really want to get it. I mean, basically it's as much data as we can give people about everything that they do, and you can really dig into it. So there's a lot of stuff in here, and some of it's actually in here and some of it's not. I think that some of the maybe interesting stuff that you could do, like graphs and things with, maybe isn't in here, but that's okay. I can get more data if I need it. How big is this file though? That's showing the first 10 rows. Let's go to the end. There we go. All right, it's not quite. It's 103,668 rows, which is still pretty big, but not the 300,000 that I thought it was. Unfortunately, not the million that exist inside of the other one. So 103 is all right. It seems to have loaded okay without like much problems. What you didn't see on the screen was it did a nice little loading graphic of a little person riding a bike as it was going off to get that data. If I refresh this though, technically if it cached it, it should just load straight away without going and doing that again. So let's see if that is the case. If I just refresh it, or is it going to run it again? There might be something else I need to do to make the cache work properly. but you can see like relatively quickly. I think the file is about 15 megabytes. And my connection here is like 100 megasecond. So it should return it relatively quickly. I guess it then has to load it in and process it all kind of line by line. But it did load pretty quickly. Please load properly now. And I'll figure out the cache stuff later. There you go. So it's not like even if that cache isn't working, which doesn't look like it is, it's still relatively quick. Like if you had to wait around for that to load and it's like 100,000 lines, you'd probably be all right with that amount of time. All right. What else can we do? Let's go back to the IDE and we will continue. Come on, VS Code. Right. Okay, so now we've got a title and we've got some data in a data frame, better known as a table. So I guess some kind of a graph now. So display charts, line chart, area charts. They've got all the charts, any chart you could wish for. Bar chart. Bar chart feels like maybe it's probably the easiest one to start with. I wonder what we can put in there though. Do I have values that are different? Yeah, I do. Costs. All right, let's do something with this then. All right, so so we can do st subheader, costs and stuff. I'm going to sample the data down though, because if I put 100,000, costs in a bar chart, that probably isn't going to break based on the experience we've had so far, but it's also not going to look great either. So maybe if I sample like 100, yeah, sample like 100. So what do I need? I need a new variable with some sample data. And then I can do, it's so difficult trying to remember all this off the top of my head, but do I open the pandas documentation? No. I'm going to guess. Data sample. Didn't autocomplete, which makes me think it's not right, but 100. Yeah. All right. Didn't autocomplete, but let's find out. And then, so if once I've got, let's break this up. Then I've got sample data and it should be like 100 rows. Let's make a bar chart. Underscore chart. Okay. Then the data. Do I want to pass other variables to this? So in the docs, you can put like, widths and heights and specify some stuff. I'm thinking I'm just going to ignore that for the minute. Oh, wait. NH Carrigan in the chat may have figured out what the cache is doing. So it says, looks like the SD cache is used to prevent the function from needing to rerun if function mode haven't changed, specifically the rerun button in the dropdown rather than a full page refresh. Yeah, you could be right, actually. If I'm just changing stuff like I am right now, it will work like directly on what is in that cache. That does make sense. 10 points to Gryffindor, if that's actually true, or whichever of the Harry Potter houses you prefer. I'm happy for you to be a part of any of them. Slytherin. All right, well, you've 10 points to Slytherin for that answer. I'm going to go with it. It's still loaded in the background. So actually, as I do this, it should It should just work. And the cache should do what it's supposed to do. All right, so where are we? Doing a bar chart. You can see the docs on there on the screen, actually, which I should remember to leave up a little bit longer so you can see them. So data doesn't need to be specified. Widths and heights, I'm just not going to bother with. Let's just put this in here, see what it does. Put it across everything to start with and just see what it looks like, and then we will pull something out specifically. All right, let me go take a look at that, see what it did. Source file changed, rerun. Meanwhile, I will stop this here and we will pull up the browser. So I hit rerun. I didn't do a full page refresh, and it still says it's running fetch report. So there's still something else that needs to be done to make this a reality. That's all right. I will figure it out. We don't need it right now. Our cache is ultimately pointless. Feels like it's taking longer than it should this time. Did I break it? No. Cool. Wow, that's an awful color. What's it pulled there as like a default? The routing rules sequence and a bunch of numbers as well. Okay, well, that's how you add a graph. Let's see if we can make it work with something specific rather than just this entire file. So that was only with, if that sample worked okay, which it seems to, that should only be like 100 records across all of that. Let's go back and make it look sort of meaningful. Okay. All right, so that bar chart, it's gonna need something specific in terms of the data that we put there. So let's figure out how we address that. Do we just do it the normal ways? Yeah, no, I'm thinking that maybe dot sample isn't actually right. Yeah, it doesn't matter now. Okay, so in our bar chart, we want to go grab some. I'll grab costs. What's that actually called? Total underscore price. Okay. Let's see, what does the doc say about this? Okay, so we're going to need to do a little pandas stuff. So for that bar chart, let's say, let's get rid of that because I don't even think that's right. Chart data, and then we're going to do PD data frame. And, oh, maybe this is where we can specify in there. That's going to be 100 and then columns total price. Feels almost right. We'll see. Let's see what this does. Let's see how badly I've broken this. Yeah. Give me a little bit of leeway with this because Python is not my everyday, and so I have to spend a lot of time in docs. Edge Carrigan, from the docs, now run the app again, and you'll notice it's much faster every time you press R to rerun. Yeah, all right. Let's change. It's running. It still seems like it's going and getting the whole thing every time. But it really doesn't matter. I will figure it out over time. Over time being the next week as I work on this more. But yeah, so far it's a really nice experience. And what's nice about it, to be honest, apart from all of the different widgets that are available, and we might add a little drop down or something in a minute if there's time, is that they've, and I'm sure you can style it yourself, but their styling and design stuff is actually quite nice. So I feel fine just building something with this. Hey, columns is not defined. It's not columns, is it? No, it isn't. But it actually looks nice. So you could see that for a lot of application, for a lot of uses, this would be really kind of cool to just knock out an application, deploy it to Heroku or wherever you like, and then just give it to people. So for proof of concept type stuff, feels like that would be really, really interesting. But I'm sure you can go in and style it out and put your own company style on it if you need to, or just whatever CSS library you might want to add in. I'm sure that that's totally possible. So, all right, let's do. No, I know why. I know why I didn't do it right. Yeah. It's because I was looking at the docs for something else. Not even the right chart. That's poor. Yeah, that's because that's not that. Get rid of that. Start again. Data. Date frame. That needs to be a thing. And so then we do data. I don't want that. We want the sample. And then columns. Pretty sure that it should be. It says in the docs that it's columns as well. But reading it in. Price. Save. The bar chart. Data. All right. And now does it work? Let's wait for it to load. Data to be plotted. I should have used the smaller file. It's fine. This is for experimentation purposes. No need to concern ourselves with the amount of rows. Okay. Oh, I thought for a second that it crashed, but it didn't crash. And then it worked. When I actually get the syntax right, things work properly. So we're back on here. My happy data time, and now we've just added a sample of the prices that come across the bar chart here. Now, a lot of this stuff is very is really similar because the costs when they've been generated in this fake data they don't vary that much. They're pretty much all exactly the same. So you would see more variance in here if this was like actual real data, because most of these calls wouldn't be going to the same numbers in the same places each and every time. They'd be going to different places, so they'd be costing different amounts of money because they'd be different durations, they'd be different countries. So the number would be more kind of like widely varied in here. But because that's why we see this. But one of the things about data exploration is that if you don't want to go through and look at all of that, this would tell you that actually, either if this was real data and all of this was like this, it would be actually maybe there's some kind of an issue here, and there isn't for this stuff. All right, we're kind of almost out of the time that I have for today, but I'm gonna see if we can quickly play with one of the widgets that allows a little bit more interactive stuff to happen on this. So let's see what we've got available. So what do we do? Put this here. There we go. So there's a bunch of widgets that are available to add in so that you can have people interact with them. Buttons, checkbox, radio, basically anything you can put in a form seems to be in here as well. Select box might be what we try in here as well. We can change what gets displayed in. Yeah, let's do a select box. We'll change what gets displayed in the bar chart by selecting something from a drop down. It's not going to be like exact science again. Like this is all about just like experimentation. But what we'll do is we'll try and get this in, and then we will finish up. So, where's my docs? My docs have disappeared. There they are. Okay. So we've got our chart data, and I guess what we want to change in here with a drop down in a select box is this, the column that's actually passed to that bar chart. So I wonder, is this just going to do it like interactively? If I set it there, is it just going to do it? Is it that clever? Let's find out. Okay, so option would be ST select box. Pick a something. And says, oh, thank you. There we go. And then we've got our options. Let's just put them in as what they are. So it's going to be total price. Another one. What else have we got in here? Total price, something that's also going to kind of work as a number. I wonder how it'll handle different data types as well. Okay, we'll see that. Date received we'll go for. Okay, so that's the option. And then the columns would be, now that needs to be an array in Python. In Python, how do you put the returned? But if I did that, is that going to work? In the chat, feel free to tell me, because I don't know. Is it going to break? Probably. Let's refresh it and find out. It's rerunning. I'll tell you what, though, whilst that is running in the background and doing whatever it needs to do, it's worth mentioning that because Streamlit is open source, you can go and add stuff to it, like whatever you'd like, really. Widgets and optimizations, different ways of trying to do things, API hooks, really anything. It's a pretty advanced project at this point, but the people that are working on it as maintainers at the moment are like, they worked at some companies, and their backgrounds are really, really huge. What am I looking for? This. But yeah, you can go in and add stuff if you want, and really dig deep into why it does the things that it does the way that it does them. If you're just super curious. But this is now reloaded. So, all right, it's added our little drop down area, this select box for the bar chart here. So it's set on the default as total price, and it appeared to not break. So what happens if I change it? It's going away and thinking about that data. I definitely haven't got that sample thing right. I need to figure out what that is, because like it shouldn't be this slow for like 100 records. So it does feel like it's doing all 100,000 of them every time I've made a change here. But Hey, all right, that's cool. So then, yeah, actually, just making even the graphs like semi-interactive. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It is. Um, the Even making the graphs like semi-interactive is really really simple. I mean, to just do that was not not a huge stress really in terms of the code. It doesn't look pretty and it kind of doesn't make any sense, but we've done what 24 lines of code. Well, less than 24 because of the spaces and stuff, but in not a lot of code at all. We've got kind of the beginnings of something that can go and be structured into something that makes more sense and is more useful than what I've done there. But this was good, really interesting to dig into Streamlit. In anger for the first time. I think this is going to work perfectly for what it is that I'm going to be writing about in the tutorial that I'm going to pull together. So stay tuned for what's going to come with that. I'm going to be playing with it more over the next like 7 to 10 days, and then I'll build out the application. Then I'll break it down and see where we get to, and then show you how to pull it all together after that point. And obviously the application that I make is ideally going to be useful for people who work with the Reports API as well to some degree. So it'll be released on our community GitHub repository as well. So anyone that wants to go grab it and use it is going to be able to do that from there. So that is it. I'm going to wrap up on this point because I feel like that's been about as successful as I'm probably going to be, at least for today. So thanks very much for joining me on the stream today. I appreciate each and every one of you that has spent some time over the last hour and a bit. It's been educational for me, maybe for you as well. I hope it has. And yeah, there's a whole lot more coming up over the course of the next however many days are left in October. We're streaming every day of the working week, anyway, Monday to Friday. Not just about Hacktoberfest, not just about open source, about a whole bunch of different things, both on our daily streams and also on our regular streams as well. So if you want to jump in on any of those, please do feel free. We welcome you to be a part of our little community. Come and join us anytime you like. And yeah, good luck with everything that you're working on so far with Hacktoberfest. If you haven't dug in on projects at the moment, please do check out our blog and see if there's any guidance there that might help, not just in terms of finding projects, but also how you might get started if you're struggling with that. In the meantime, I'll see you in the Discord. I will see you on GitHub. I will be in your pull requests, and I will be back here next Monday for another Monday with Martyn, starting at, I think, the same time, 6 p.m. Central European Time, 4 p.m. UTC. And yeah, thanks very much for spending time with me. I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.